Forbes did an article, I think it was back in February, and it did the top 10 in-demand soft skills. And in just everything that you've been saying, it's so funny because of those top 10 skills, so many of them have some aspect of civility, and someone
Hmm.
who can be effectively civil can excel at negotiations, persuasion, presentation skills, critical thinking, mentoring, emotional intelligence, innovation,
Yeah.
resilience, like that whole civility mindset can either help you flourish with these skills or can completely undermine your effectiveness when it comes to those skills. So it's not, when we're talking, it's not just a single skill of civility.
Hmm.
Civility
Right.
can impact your effectiveness throughout so many other key critical skills, critical areas that can impact your success. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, if you think about it, in your span of your career, working in companies, working as an entrepreneur, working with clients, all of that, if if you encountered someone that was rude, you automatically shut down from listening to anything that they had to say, right? The communication shut down. I'm sure your body language also. We're thinking, okay, this person's a little aggressive, right? So, and it could have been that you didn't agree with them on something, but at the end of the day, how you interact with people can open the doors or it can shut the doors, right? And so it's not just about, to your point, it's not just about one thing. It's not just about having manners. It's having manners, but it's also being respectful and compassionate, having empathy, and understanding where a person could potentially have come from, right?
yes.
That maybe they had a really bad day. So, okay, if you're shifting your mindset to think about, okay, this morning I'm going to get up, I'm going to shift my mindset, and I'm going to intentionally integrate civility into my day. And when I mean that, it could just be saying good morning to to your colleague that you don't usually say good morning to, or looking at something from a different perspective. It begins to shift your relationships. It begins to shift the outcomes. And more often than not, there are more positive outcomes that come from that.
Yeah,
And that's really what it's about.
I have to laugh because Laura and I have both had a similar conversation with you about various people and whatnot. I mean, we're in an industry that you have so many different personalities, backgrounds, different things like that. And I'm not going to speak for Laura, but for myself, I can get frustrated easily. I can be reactive. So in my
That's part of your feisty and spirited personality that we love and adore. It's just
but
channeling
it
it
has a
sometimes.
place and a time. And that's one of the things I've learned from you is how to recognize in myself when I need to possibly take a step back. So one of the things that I've implemented since I've known you is if I see a post on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, and my initial reaction, my heart rate goes up and I'm like, I will not type in there. I will open a Word document and I will start typing a response and then I leave it sit. And the reason I do it there is because I've had it where I've accidentally hit send or whatever when I've done it in LinkedIn
That
or in
has happened
Facebook.
frequently. It's
Right.
happened to a few
So
clients of mine that I suggested them doing that, but they did it in their email. So I should have been more clear in my
yes,
communication
no,
to not do it in
do in a
email.
Word document. And then I leave it.
Yeah.
And then I come back because, and I think this is, we talked about a little bit about how um, it's almost this sense of anonymity when it comes to social media and stuff because it's not face to face. And people just have become very reactive without any thought on context or the what it can do to your reputation or whatever. So again, I want to thank you because again, one of the tools that I have learned from you is to take it offline until I understand exactly where I'm coming from in my
Mm,
reaction, so that if I then, when I do respond, I'm responding in a more, I don't want to say enlightened, but a more a realistic response where I've considered where this person may have come from. Am I
yeah.
overreacting? Am I reading into things? Am I? So I think, that's a great tool you've taught me.
We all come to the table with our own experiences, our own life struggles, things that, our childhood, things like that. And so we can't put that all on someone, right? So, how we respond sometimes and how we behave is a result of that. These soft skills are really important. Civility is a major part of that, to your point. All those things that they list, civility could really be the umbrella for all of that. I work with young professionals and I see that, they come to me with an issue as I'm coaching them. It is this, well, they did this to me and they did that, and I'm not getting, promoted, I'm not being seen. And I'll have them take a step back and see from that person's perspective, what were they really trying to tell them about the feedback? It's not their response, their responsibility is to make them thrive in that organization. So if they're giving them constructive feedback, it means that they care enough to provide that feedback. And so once I shift that perspective and make them understand that that's what that person's trying to do for them, it changes the conversation with my client and it changes how they interact when they go back into the organization. So it's really making them understand how civility plays a role in everyday interactions, and taking accountability and responsibility for certain things is only going to help them excel in their career.